I love my children, and I want them to be successful.
Well, smell it. Here. How do they smell? Good?
The research is very clear. It's undisputed. The greater likelihood of a child's academic success is directly linked to family and parental involvement.
Educators have looked at family engagement as that extra piece. But families are a part of education. Families are an educational strategy.
If we really want to go from being a good school to a great school, if we want to close the achievement gap, we can't do it without partnerships with families.
There are 5,000 schools across our country that the U.S. Department of Education has identified as failing, where a majority of students are not reaching academic standards. One common denominator many of them share is families who are minimally or not at all involved in their children's education.
Every parent wants their student to graduate. Every parent wants to see their kids come home with test scores of 100% or better. We have a lot of kids who not only aren't coming home with those kinds of test scores, but who aren't even graduating at all.
Up to a third of our kids are not going to graduate from high school, or if they do graduate from high school, they won't have the skills they need to succeed in any kind of post-secondary education. We have a real education crisis.
The crisis is worst in urban and rural communities where the majority of low-performing schools are located, and the achievement gap is widest.
When you have an excess of that is not an area where we need to be a little bit better at. We really need to look at transforming education. And one way to do that is to engage the families of those children.
We know more needs to be done to get kids out of this achievement gap, and I think our time is up.
Efforts focus on a number of core strategies, from increasing school accountability to improving teacher quality. But there is one area that, if tapped, will raise student achievement dramatically.
You like made up stuff.
Family engagement.
He did a nice job on. Good job. I don't know that he has a whole lot that he needs to improve on.
The school-parent partnership is an essential component of a child's education.
We have 40 years of research that shows that family involvement in kids' learning and development at home and then at school is one of the strongest predictors of how kids do in school.
The research is very clear. It's undisputed. The greater likelihood of a child's academic success is directly linked to family and parental involvement.
What's your name? Oh, is he a pharaoh?
Parental involvement, I'd like to almost rephrase that and call it parental engagement. To me, being involved means you do a bake sale, you color T-shirts. Parental engagement is just totally different. It means becoming part and parcel of the decision-making in education in our country.
In the past, and perhaps even in the present, family engagement, while it's being talked about, has not really been looked at as a key strategy to student success. And in fact it is. No matter the socioeconomic status of a family, no matter where a family lives, no matter their culture or their race, when a family is engaged in their child's education, that child is more successful in school.
See a tan wedding.
I just like watching my kids just to see their reaction from things. Kids are like sponges, so they're gonna absorb everything that you teach them. I just try to encourage them every day to be the best that they can be. I want to show them a father figure, something that I didn't have.
Come on.
All right, Alicia, let's see what you're gonna mix in there with that yellow. What color did you get, baby? You're doing a good job, baby.
It really is a tale of two cities. In some communities, particularly communities that have lots of parental involvement, lots of father involvement, our kids are doing better academically. But in some communities, minority communities, or some of the poor communities in particular, where father absence tends to be higher, we know that we've got some issues there.
In all honesty, I never really felt that it was a true team. I always felt that it was a perceived team. Like, here's your role, this is what we do. We don't need you to interfere, but when we want you here, this is what we need you to do. And so a lot of times parents don't feel like they have a voice or their voice is being stifled. It's very important for parents to have voices about issues, about things, so they can be role models for their kids. A lot of times I don't think they even recognize that their own power. They have the power to influence, the power to impact and make change.
As a result of No Child Left Behind, where many, many educators now understand that they alone cannot educate children. And they're looking to families for help.
Let's go into the library. Ooh, this looks like a fun book. Tiny Green Thumbs. What number is that?
Those families can be an enormous help if you reach out to them and together shape ways for meaningful family involvement at home and at school. If educators are able to do that, I think it will raise the needle on student achievement dramatically.
Good morning. How are you today? Being a school in need of improvement, we can't do it alone. We need the support of the parents. So we want to make sure that the parents are on the same boat with us. There is a need. This is a school in their community. Let's work together.
Family engagement is really the key, one of the key missing ingredients to helping students achieve more and to reach their potential.
This is unacceptable.
I think we all have a part to play, but I believe firmly that it's parents who are going to reform education. It's parents who are going to significantly close the achievement gap.
Very good, Hanifa.
It isn't always as easy as it seems, but it's far more important than anyone can imagine.
The first report card, I was crushed because his average was a 69. He has never gotten a 69. And I was crushed. I wanted to cry. Like, what am I doing wrong? His games, that PS2, done. And everybody was just transfixed in front of the television. And I said, you know what? This is it. No more television. I think she means writers help us look at the world differently. Okay, so Oprah Winfrey. I would go into that school every day before I went to work and look at his classroom, sit in his class, speak to his teachers, so that he knows I am present and accounted for. I am proud of myself that I can take my household and transfix it into something amazing.
A little sparkle lit in the boy's eyes. It's something I learned from my father.
I love my children and I want them to be successful.